Yeah, we most certainly can.
Welcome back to Let's Have a Real Conversation with Dashing D.
And JD.
Why aren't you excited?
He was over the top. I was trying to balance it out.
I mean, we're back together again.
Yay! Where's Nori? Make some noise!
Click, 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 click.
We're gonna get to Nori in a minute.
We gotta talk about Nori.
We gotta talk about Irv.
Well, yeah, but Nori deserves some flowers too.
Nori's on a run. We're gonna get to it.
Uh-huh.
All right, welcome back. Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast. We're back in the closet, back together. All right, y'all. We have a follow-up about Mace. We spoke last time pretty harshly about Mace, but that's because we ain't have all the info we have now. So I'm not going to apologize because I just didn't know that shit. Nobody knew, to be fair.
Either.
Yeah, nobody knew.
I came down pretty hard on Mace. I did.
You did.
I came down pretty hard on Mace because it looked nasty when the way it was brought to us, the way it was, portrayed.
Absolutely.
I came down pretty hard on him.
You did.
I did.
And in fairness, he actually is doing the things that I spoke about. He said he is stopping what is being done in the industry and doing things properly, and we got to give him credit for that.
Right.
So Mace came out and he spoke about how he actually did sign Fivio to a better deal than most people have. How he gave Fivio back his 30% for the management fees, and he also has a joint partnership where it's a 50-50 split on the cash that was given, the advance that was given, and how they have masters, or rather Mace has masters, but that's a whole nother conversation.
As he said. That's exactly what he said. That's a separate conversation.
Masters have been coming up a lot lately. They also came up in the Irv Gotti interview. A lot of artists are bringing up masters now. Lupe Fiasco did an interview a while ago and they brought up masters. He has some interesting perspective on it. It's interesting to me that in 2022 masters are coming up so much, which I get it. People want to own and control more of the business side of things. But it's just really interesting that is becoming a focus. As an artist, I totally get it. It's just interesting to me that now you hear this being spoken about so much, where before you never heard it.
Yeah, that's true.
It was super rare,
Well, and I guess there's a lot more access to information now.
Yeah.
It's easier to get information now. And so you hear one person talk about it, spreads like wildfire, and honestly some people are in some bad positions because of wasn't it Taylor? I think it was Taylor Swift and Ashanti, both who re-recorded their music.
So we'll get to Ashanti when we talk about Irv, but
that is a thing. Yes. I know it was a big thing with Taylor Swift because Taylor was trying to use her music, and Scooter Braun was like,
"Nah, player.
Fuck you, Taylor."
Yeah.
Which a lot of people were like, "Oh, fuck her, Taylor," but
yeah,
nobody likes that little white girl. Nobody except for her fans.
I'm about to say she has a huge fan base. I'm sure she's doing just fine.
Yeah, but I feel like the masses though, like everybody else, like people don't fuck with Taylor Swift like that. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't even matter. But she's not what we talk about in this closet, who we talk about in this closet. So it doesn't matter. But I've always thought her story was interesting when it pertains to her and Scooter Braun, and the fact that she was like, "Hey guys, I'm going to be busy for the next couple of months re-recording my music because this man won't give me my music." And I mean, listen, if I get it, as a creator, you want to feel like you have rights to what you create. That's just...
But you don't if you sign them away.
Of course. And I'm not saying that, these people weren't consenting. I'm just saying that it's kind of like the thing with Fivio, where, you know, one of the arguments was that he was young, although I had looked up his age today and I don't know how young he was when it really happened.
Okay.
But that's one of the arguments, is that are people being, or have people been manipulated into these situations because they just don't know better? If you're a 19-year-old who, even Mace talked about when he was a freshman in college, or had just come out of college, left college after freshman year, and so he was 19 and getting into the music industry. What does a 19-year-old kid from Harlem know about the music industry? Most don't know, unless you really been around people like that. And then even still, like, you're young and you see dollar signs, and you know, he was Mace Money. M-A$E. And so I could totally understand how, you know, you could end up being bamboozled into a situation that as an adult looks wild to you. And also, then what do you do? What do you do when you're trying to like do things with your music and you realize that you can't? I'm sure there's a lot of people's situation where they just did not have the wherewithal.
I don't think it has to do with age. I think it has to do with inexperience. There are plenty of older artists who are not 17, 18, 19, 20 who get signed and are in the same position. It's just lack of knowledge and experience.
I agree. I think it does have to do with experience. I guess the point that I'm making, like I said, is that there was conversation that Fivio was young and Mace had taken advantage of him. Before the Mace interview happened, that was part of the conversation.
Yes.
So, and we know that Mace has had issues with Diddy. And one of the things that Mace pointed out himself in the interview he did with Gilly and Wallow was that he was young.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I'm talking about age, because it's been brought up in the conversation. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I think it has more to do with inexperience. I mean, sure, most 19-year-olds are probably more inexperienced when it comes to business. Well, maybe not today, but a decade ago, sure. More than a decade ago, yeah, they probably were a lot more inexperienced, because business is very different today than it was when Mace was 19. So,
yeah,
I think you're right, though. I think that there's a lot of people who just don't know and don't have the resources.
Yeah.
Everybody, there's, like you said, I'm sure there's 30-year-olds, there's 40-year-olds who don't have the resources to get a legal team or even just one lawyer to come and look at their contracts and figure out what they need to do. Having proper representation is huge when it comes to these sort of deals that these people are getting themselves into. But a lot of people don't have that. A lot of times they're trying to sign on to get that representation in these moments. And so
this is true.
I don't know. It's the music industry is such a dark place.
Oh man, what was it that Kanye called it?
It is such a dark place.
It's the sunken place?
It is the sunken place. Is it not? I mean, and for everybody, right? Like, the music industry only benefits who it benefits. And that's not saying much. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a handful of celebrities that, you know, probably had it figured out and had a team. You know, the cool thing about Beyonce, just randomly, I know I'm like going off on a tangent.
Just going way left. All right. Not like we got a topic list.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, what's interesting about somebody like Beyonce is that she had a career before her career.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't have that.
Yep. Right?
So now she like owns Parkwood, you know, all of her, everything that comes out of the house of Beyonce is
not the house of Beyonce.
Is Beyonce's, right? Like, most people can't say that. it's unfortunate, but most people can't say that. The benefit to her situation, and I just use her as an example because I think she's the only one that I could think of off the top of my head who has made that sort of transition where she was in a group and the group was thriving, for better or for worse. I mean, they had a lot of turnover, but it was still thriving.
Them and 3LW.
If it wasn't for that fateful day in that KFC parking lot, Keely throwing chicken at Notori.
So I switched my girls around like 3L Dub.
Yeah. I don't know how we got here. It's my fault, but
it is totally your fault.
Anyway, I only bring up Beyonce because I feel like her trajectory is interesting in that she was kind of able to almost course correct. And I don't know what Destiny's Child's deal was in the beginning. I just know that, there was some issues with management and whatever along the way. But I think that she's one of the few that got an opportunity early on to course correct her career and kind of guide it and take ownership of her stuff.
Yeah, but when did that happen? I mean, what year was Parkwood created? Recently.
I mean, it's not that recent anymore, is it?
The last 5 years?
Has it been the last 5 years?
I never heard of it until recently, but hey, listen, what do I know? You and Google got answers.
I would assume it was around the time that her and her father parted ways, which was a while ago, no?
I'm saying Beyonce went solo in early 2000s.
Right, and he was managing her for a little while before it. 2010.
Okay.
That was in 5 years. That was 12 years ago now.
Okay.
So.
Parkwood was created in 2010?
Yep. It was founded by Beyonce Knowles Carter in 2010.
Okay. Quiet as kept.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I bring her up, because I feel like we don't see that often.
Yeah, but by 2010, Beyonce was that B word.
A bitch. I can say that. You can't.
You right about that.
Yeah. She is, and Beyonce will continue to be that bitch.
But I'm saying that it's easier to do those type of things when you hit a certain tier.
Of course.
Random artist A just coming in the game can't simply just maneuver that way.
That's exactly my point, though. Is that's the unfortunate. When I said this was to speak to the fact that I said that there's only about a handful of people, artists specifically, who actually benefit in that way.
Got it.
But for the most part, it's the labels and the people who pull the strings that are the ones who are benefiting. That was my point, if I didn't make that clear.
It's clear now.
But yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
The puppet masters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, Mace tried to be as honest as possible. You know what I respected about Mace?
Oh, Mace was not playing. Mace had documents. Mace had videos.
He had a phone call.
Mace made phone calls. Then he was like, all right, so what else y'all want to talk about? Because I don't think I got nothing left to say on this.
What I was going to say is that I really respect that he was really honest about the way he was feeling about it. And he was like, yo, I'm nervous to even talk about this. And he was like, I don't know if Tubby's going to answer the phone. I need my cosign, and I don't know if the cosign is going to pick up the phone.
Right.
And I respected that. Like you said, I'm not going to apologize because I spoke to what I thought was true. I'm glad, though. I will say that I'm glad.
Sorry.
What?
You was living in your truth?
Yeah. I was standing in my truth.
Standing in your truth. There you go.
But I forgot what I was going to say.
You're not apologizing.
No, I was saying something after that.
Because
what I will say is that I'm happy that what we thought it was is not what it is.
Yeah, but Fivio just lied. That's why.
But why is Fivio lying? What's going on with grown ass men? I keep telling y'all, Audacity is being sold at Costco, Sam's Club, and BJ's. I really don't understand. Why is he lying? What does he have to gain to lie? And is it that he's lying or he just doesn't understand? Because some of them just really don't understand what type of deals they got themselves into. Is that the case? Or is he a liar? Who knows the answer?
I don't know.
You think he lied? You think he
Well,
just stayed?
he did lie.
You think he lied intentionally?
How do you lie by accident?
Because then, is it a lie? I guess is the point I'm trying to make. If he really thought something to be true, is he lying, or is he misrepresenting the truth because he doesn't understand it?
Misrepresenting.
All
the
right,
truth.
you know
Hold
what?
on, I got the.
You know.
Gotta write that one down.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
You do not.
Definitely.
You do not. What's our next topic? Speaking of interviews, you really writing this down?
Yeah, I'm gonna use that later. It's a good one. It's not a diss. I liked it that shit. All right, speaking of interviews, go ahead.
Speaking of interviews, we mentioned Nori. We mentioned Nori, and Nori's been interviewing a hell of a lot of people lately.
Yeah, let's give Nori some props before we go into what we really here to talk about. Like,
homeboy, I came to party. Your girl was looking at me.
Oh, I thought you knew the rest.
I do, but I'm not sure if those are the correct words. What you trying to do, nigga? I was waiting for you to say nothing. Yo!
There was so much emphasis.
I teed it up!
There was so much emphasis on nigga that I didn't even know if I should jump in.
Were you offended?
I wasn't ready. So Nori has interviewed in the last month, maybe less,
a lot of people.
A lot of prominent people. Patti LaBelle, which I still don't understand. But hey, who am I?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but
I didn't watch any of it.
But the part that I did watch, I was entertained because first of all, Patti was like, "Yeah, my son said that your people called." And he was like, "Mom, you gonna do the show?" And she was like, "What? Drink Champs?" he was like, "Yeah." She said, "Don't get me wrong. I know about you guys. I know who you are, and I know what you do." She was like, "But I asked my son, don't they do reefer?" Hollered because I was like, "Okay, Grandma," because she is. Yeah. That's like she is a woman of a certain age. She don't want no parts of what they got going on there. She was like, but I love the fact that she was like, "Y'all can have your reefer, drink your drinks. I'm gonna have my wine."
As she should.
Because apparently she's coming out with her own line of wine.
As she should too.
Yeah.
Why not?
She was like, she had her pretty little glass. And she was like, "I'm just going to sip my wine. And y'all can drink all the cognac y'all want. Y'all can have all the reefer you want. I'm not going to do it. But
that's it.
Let's chat." And then she was telling everybody's business.
Well,
that's
what happens on Drink Champs.
Yeah, she was. But that also happens with like, remember when Quincy Jones came out?
I won't talk about it. next time. So Neo
I don't okay.
Yeah, Patti LaBelle.
Neo is dropped. Well, by the time this comes out,
Neo came out. Neo came out today. Mm-hmm. We just found out right before hitting record.
Yeah.
So it's probably doing numbers by the time y'all see this in a few days. And who
else? Well, we talked about the Chris Brown interview that happened within the last 6 weeks.
We got to mention that. Yeah, that was recent. Chris Brown, Patti LaBelle, Neo, and Irv Gotti and Ja Rule.
And I think we're missing someone, but it's fine. I feel like there was someone else in between.
I know he did Jewels, but that wasn't.
I think there was someone else in between that I can't think of. But Nori is doing his thing right now with these.
He had Angie and what's this actress? Common's ex, Tiffany Haddish. Angie Martinez and Tiffany Haddish were up there together, which I don't know why, but I didn't bother pressing play. But those are also big stars.
You said Common's ex, and I was like,
they're not exes. They're not exes.
Well, no, because it's just so hard. When you say Common's ex, it could be nearly anyone.
I'm not. I will not throw any dirt on Common's name. He's that guy. I got a lot of love for Common.
I never said I didn't have love for Common. I said if you just use the phrase Common's ex, it's very hard to decide.
It's very common.
Who it could be. Exactly.
It's quite common.
Exactly.
I got it. All right. Well,
the girls love it, so why not?
You know, I'm gonna plead the fifth. I'm gonna leave that right there because if not, I gotta caress dresses. So, Irv Gotti was on Drink Champs and broke the internet and spoke a lot. He spoke a lot. He spoke a lot. It's he said a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to hold back.
Nah, listen. Take it to the next level.
He said a lot of things.
All right, well, the clip that is circulating on a large scale is him talking about when he and Ashanti were an item and how after a lovemaking session he got in the shower and came up with the concept and the beat and the hook for...
I'm assuming that's how it happened in the shower. Like maybe he was shampooing his hair. I can't actually touch my hair because, edges. But
he spoke about how he came up with the song Happy. So that's the clip that's circulating. He spoke a lot about Ashanti, their intimate moments, her being with Nelly, how he found out. He spoke about how he did say at one point there was way too much Ashanti talk.
Yeah.
Everyone in the room told him, like, all right, let's move on at different points. At one point, Ja Rule was like, all right, let's move on to another topic. At another point, Nori was like, oh man, we back on Ashanti? Like, oh, maybe we should talk about something else. And then EFN at one point later on in the interview was like, Ashanti again? I thought we were done with that.
EFN be really trying to like keep the train on the tracks.
I love EFN is great.
Great. He's awesome. Great. He really does try to keep the train. Even when Nori tries to, go off the rails, he's like, don't we have something else we gotta ask?
Yeah.
But it's giving. Okay.
Well, I want to give him his disclaimer of sorts. He did say that he was trying to respond to. He felt that he was being painted in a bad light because she said certain things publicly in interviews and Twitter and different places, and he wanted to clear the air, tell the truth, tell his side, etc. And
I don't even know what she said about him.
So she said that I'm gonna have to just put clips up, but he said, Ashanti said a couple things. First, that she was re-recording her album under her new label.
Right.
Her first album and putting it back out.
Mm-hmm.
And he alluded that didn't work. And then she started like an online campaign and was saying like, I don't remember the exact chronological order. There was so much Ashanti talk. If I'm doing this in the wrong order, audience, please forgive me. There's a lot of fucking Ashanti talk.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that she said she was re-recording her album and that he said it didn't seem like that worked. So then she said she wanted to jazz it up and spruce it up and kind of do reimagined versions, updated versions of the beat and the song. And he gave some example. So she said, Irv Gotti is stopping me from doing this.
Okay, she said that publicly.
Yeah. And then he explained why. He said, yes, and here's why. When you redo things, you can redo them and it's fine if it's the same thing. But once you begin to, quote, jazz it up, spruce it up, reimagine it, you're basically resampling the song.
I was just about to ask, is that like...
So he says that's why he said no.
Okay.
Because what happens is when you do that, whoever has the ownership, the masters, etc., it gets kicked back to them and then they get the final decision.
Clear, yeah.
So he said, I'll give you a real life example. And he gave an example of, I don't remember the name of the song, but it was a song with Ashanti and Vita. And they tried to do a reimagining, sprucing up, all the same. He used the same exact terminology that she used and said of a song that had a Madonna sample. Mm-hmm. And just like it went back to Irv Gotti with Ashanti, when they tried to do it, it went back to Madonna. Right. And Madonna said, no, you motherfuckers can't do that. I cleared the sample before. You can't do whatever the fuck you want now. If you want to do that, then do that. Right. But you cannot do it again and act like it's the same thing.
Right. I can understand.
So there was that. And then he said she started a public campaign where she was saying, like, Irv Gotti won't give me my masters. Irv Gotti won't give me my masters. He said, first of all, no, I'm not giving you your masters. There are reasons why I have the masters. And he explained some of that. He said she wants the masters to be able to do certain things with it and basically cut him out the financial pie.
Okay.
Furthermore, he said what she really wants is the stems. Okay. The stems are, for those who don't know, the stems are the exact music files. So it's all of the drums, all of the hi-hats. It's everything in the files of Pro Tools, which is pretty much what most people use in Pro Tools. So that way she can open up the files and everything will be perfectly laid out. And all she has to do is lay new vocals. And she'll have the old vocals, the background vocals. She'll have every piece of the song. And she'll be able to manipulate it however she sees fit. Mm-hmm. That's why he said he's saying no, because he's like, first of all, no artist gets their stems. Like, that's not part of something that just magically happens. Mm-hmm. People who own the masters and own the stems, they don't just pass that over. He said, and second, no, if you want to redo your album, then redo it. But I'm not going to straight up give it to you on a silver platter, especially when we're beefing. And so later on, he came back and said,
petty feud between the two of them is what it comes down to, because it sounds like somewhere along the lines, the personal stuff between them is getting mixed into the business.
Yes. So Nori asked that. He said, once sex was brought up, he said, was there ever a time when sex and business or personal and business became intertwined and caused the problem? And he said, no, the problems came way later. And so he says, for example, like I said, it was a lot of Ashanti talk. He says that at one point, I think it was after the verses, but they don't clearly say it. Ja Rule's verses. Mm-hmm. He says that they tried to do a Murder Inc. reunion tour. Okay. They had venues on board, Live Nation was on board, but Ashanti said no.
Oh yeah, I had heard about that. I remember when they brought that up.
So he's basically saying like, yo, this chick does shit behind the scenes and doesn't tell y'all, the public. But then she's trying to make me look like the bad guy. So he's clearing his name. And at some points he straight up was like, yeah, fuck you. And he said part of the reason was because he considers... He basically said anyone who's a friend he considers family, especially when you're a close friend, which I understand. And he said at one point they were in his Maybach or some specific expensive car. He says the car, I don't remember. I think it was a Maybach. And he said they were talking about music and career and different things. And she turned to him and said, I don't want to do this anymore. And then he said, what do you mean? Like the conversation or the business stuff? And he says she threw up. I'm not going to do it. But he says she put up the Murder Inc. hand gesture and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Basically, so he's taking that as her saying, fuck Murder Inc. And he's saying, well, if it's fuck Murder Inc. and fuck, which is family, then fuck you too.
I hear everything you're saying.
I'm just reporting. I'm just.
I know, and I'm not. I don't
live
think,
from the scene.
I don't think that. I know that wasn't an opinion. I know you were just recounting what you saw.
Yes.
I've only heard the clips of the things he said
Pusha T
about
and Malice?
Ashanti.
Forget it.
No. Yeah, I've only heard the clips of some of the things that he said about Ashanti. So thank you for giving us more context on that. My frustration is, and I could totally understand the business stuff and, certain things being in place and him wanting to maintain that and whatever. Of course, if you're the person who owns the masters, you don't want to give them away. That seems pretty likely. But the things that I heard, and I understand that they were clips that were taken from
a 3.5 hour interview,
a large conversation. Some of it came off like I made you.
Oh yeah, no, he yeah.
Talk.
Yes. He says we put you on.
Right.
We wrote records for you. We put you on records that we could have put anyone on. Yeah.
And
he says, sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
I don't remember if they asked him how did Ashanti get signed, but it came up at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there was a lot of Ashanti talk. And he basically said like they just kept her around. She didn't have any music. She was young. She was inexperienced. And they just had her around the studio. So when different things came up, it was like, oh, say this. Oh, sing this.
Mm-hmm.
So-and-so is here. There's like, we need somebody to sing ooh. All right, go ahead. Go sing ooh.
So here's the thing, right? I'm not saying that.
Which, for those who don't know, that's part of artist development, which doesn't exist in 2022.
Right. I can understand that her career maybe wouldn't have taken the path that it did had she not been around them, had they not put her on. I mean, everybody had help in some way from somebody.
And in fairness, they do talk about how Ja Rule got put on as well. It wasn't all Ashanti.
But I think when you start mixing in,
we had sex and then I took a shower and wrote your hit record.
Right. It just gets weird. It gives bitter man. I was trying not to say something worse.
Nigga.
Yeah.
Say nigga.
It gives bitter, it gives petty, it gives you still trying to remain relevant when we don't need you to do that because we know who you are type of shit. Like, this was very like, I'm gonna puff my chest out and I'm gonna embarrass her because I don't like her. Because she was the girl that I used to have sex with, or I was in love with. He said I was in love with.
He did.
I want to correct that. I don't want to misspeak.
He did.
You sound like you're still upset about the woman that you were in love with while you were married to your wife.
And they said that. And he says no, he's mad about the way she behaved, not about the fact that their situation ended physically or the fact that they are no longer doing business. He said that she left the business in a very distasteful way and continues to do distasteful things. He didn't use the word distasteful. I'm using it. And that is what bothers him. So he said, yeah, I am upset, but not because, the baddie got away. He's made it very clear he's had many baddies since then. And there are plenty of 20-something-year-old women who fawn over him and have great sex with him. And he
yet
said
this
the same.
Is the one that you're talking about. So
I can just recap. I don't.
No, I'm not. That's not directed at you.
It did come off bitter. It did come off bitter, and it seems like there is a lot of unresolved feelings and issues between the two of them.
Yeah.
Because yes, he did a 3.5 hour interview and he speaks about her a lot during it, but Ashanti has been speaking about him publicly in interviews on Twitter, etc. So
she's petty too.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to make it seem one-sided, but this is the thing. This is the most recent thing that happened, right? So this is the thing that we're having a conversation about. He's bigger. He is using it to promote a documentary. He is
a docuseries.
A docuseries.
Which he didn't say, and I thought was weird. Sorry to cut you off again. I'm cutting you off a lot. I gotta be better.
That's cool.
It's not.
I cut you off all the time.
True.
So it's
he kept saying it was a documentary on Murder Inc. about Murder Inc. on BT, but when I looked it up, it's a 4-part series.
Oh, I actually thought it was 5 parts.
Well, okay, that's even worse. But that's not a one. That's not a one-shot. Sit here for an hour and a half deal.
No, this is a big thing for them this year. Yeah. It's not just a and I think too because he's been doing work with the network for a while, so
he spoke about that.
They, and listen.
He's got some fly shit coming.
That's what I want to talk about though. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit there and listen to you talk about how you just finished fucking her and created Happy. Like what? Nigga.
But he was happy. I'm sorry.
I just don't understand have an issue with her, right? Y'all got beef? Have your beef. I'm not telling you not to be mad at her. I don't know what the personal things are, the business things, whatever. I wasn't there. You can be upset with somebody. You can have a problem with somebody, but you can also be respectful of them and the relationship that you did have. You're saying you were in love with this woman. You could have spoke about her if you needed to speak about her because she's a part of all of this. You could have spoken about her in a way that was respectful to the relationship you had. And that's what I have a problem with, because then it just becomes, I'm doing this for clicks. I'm doing this for clout. And people are going to watch that documentary regardless. I just don't understand. I don't understand the coming out. We spoke about this the other day, and I said that I felt like women largely do this. I want to retract my statement, and I apologize to all the women out there. Normally I am very feminist and I am very pro-woman. I want to, that I will apologize for, because I said it, and I said it because there were several women who recently did things like this. But y'all motherfuckers be doing it too. Irv Gotti. That shit is so petty and so disrespectful. And why? For what? Because you mad at her? Then go handle your shit with her. Or if you're not going to handle your shit, at least consider the relationship you had, and consider your business, and consider the fact that you're a grown-ass fucking man. And sit there and have a thoughtful conversation about the business and how things went awry, instead of talking about, yeah, we was just fucking and I created Happy. Nigga, we don't care. We don't care about that. We don't care that you had just had sex with her before you created that song. That doesn't change anything for us. We still bump to it when it came out. We'll still bump to it now when it comes on. That's it. We don't even need to I was so disgusted with it, because you're grown. You're grown. Figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, don't bring it here. There were so many other stories that could have been told. There were so many other things that could have been said, but he spent most of his time talking about Ashanti, who has moved on and is probably somewhere at Carnival, living her best life.
Looking great. Looking
amazing. Her body always looks exactly how a body... I can't say that. But, I mean, Ashanti always looks great. I don't have anything bad to say about... I don't think anyone does. Ashanti gives great
The camera loves
the
Ashanti.
camera loves Ashanti. I mean, we love
and we love what
Ashanti.
the camera shows us.
We just, just body, just beautiful.
Yada, yada, yada,
Yes,
yada.
yes, that's yes. We'll get to Meg, but yes.
No.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman, beautiful body, beautiful. She just wears clothes well. Even when she's not wearing clothes, it's well too.
Thank you.
It's
Because
well.
I was trying to figure out how do I say this and not get in trouble.
Listen, I am, a straight woman, but I can appreciate a sexy body, like, of course. So listen, she the men ogle over her and the women aspire. So I am not mad at Ashanti. She's out there being a bad bitch, and it's probably irritating him more. He probably wishes that things weren't going well for her. Because sometimes we have that feeling about people. Ah, man, she's doing well. Look at her. She's half naked. People are ogling over her. And I'm over here still pissed about the way she's been handling things.
They asked him that. He said he doesn't follow her. He said when he sees her pictures, it's because like TMZ or whoever posted it. And then he's just like, oh, okay.
Irv Gotti got a Finsta. Irv Gotti cares too much not to. Sorry. He cares too much not to. If he would have showed up on the scene and just been really super chill and really calm about it, I would have been like, oh yeah, I bet he's never seen one of those photos. Bullshit. But I call bullshit. He's got a Finsta. Or use one of his kids' Instagram or something to go check on Ashanti.
Come on, not the kids.
I mean, aren't his kids grown?
Come on, man.
I think his kids are grown. I'm not saying anything bad about the kids. I'm just saying he probably... Listen, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I'd just be like, let me see your phone for a minute. I gotta go check something. Yo. And the only reason I even remember that he has kids, because I remember his reality show when it was on many years ago. I actually liked his reality show very much. With him and his wife and his kids. The wife that he was with while he was in love with Ashanti. Anyway, any additional thoughts on this?
Well, I didn't want to cut you off, but
I'm sorry. I had a lot. I had a lot to say about.
So when he was talking about the Murder Inc. doc and about Ashanti, he said, "Listen, if we tried to set it up where Ashanti could come on the doc and speak her part. I was not going to be there. I wasn't going to have anything to do with it." He said that the people from Paramount and BT, they reached out to Ashanti 3 separate times to try to, set something up and allow her to have the floor and speak her piece, and she refused all 3 times. So we won't be able to hear her side in the same way. Which means that in the doc, they're going to say stuff about Ashanti and the events that happened, and we won't hear her side, which I think is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But she made that decision. So that's the challenge. Because
I'm not blaming them. I get how it works.
But I don't think that's wise, because now you give them the floor to say whatever the fuck they want, and we'll never hear your side. Or more likely, we will hear your side.
Yeah.
After the episodes come out,
something's coming,
and you'd be like, "What? They said I was a bum bitch sleeping on the floor?"
Yeah.
Nah, I got to let my shit off, and then you go do a Gayle King interview. That's how niggas do now. Nah, she can't get Gayle King. She could go on Drink Champs though. Yo, Ashanti should go on Drink Champs, and they said that too.
You gonna watch it?
Twice. Nah, I mean I'll watch it, but I'm not.
She's gonna be sitting down, so there's gonna be some parts of her that
don't mean she's not. She was sitting down when she did Versus against Keisha Cole. You forgot.
I think I got mad and didn't watch it
because of the fake COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of fake COVID, can I?
Sure.
So
the moment you've been waiting for.
Listen, I try to stay out of women's business.
Such a hater.
I try to stay out of women's business, but this is some man shit. And I just want to let y'all know. And I'm not the first to say this because someone else already said this very publicly on a much larger platform. But there was supposed to be a Young Money Fest or some shit?
OVO Fest.
No, it was Young Money something.
Wasn't it OVO Fest weekend? It was OVO Fest.
Whatever. Listen, man. There was supposed to be
Young Money
some...
was... I don't know if it's that they headline or something.
If you find the tweet, he says Young Money, whatever. Say reunion
there
or
was
OVO.
like a specific day that Young Money... that was designated for Young Money.
Oh, that's what it was?
I'm pretty sure.
Yo, listen, man. Let me just cut to the chase. Drake had a performance. It was supposed to be a Young Money situation. Nicki, Wayne, the whole squad. Who knows who else? And your man said, I'm so sorry, y'all. Yo, we should pull up the tweet. You find the tweet?
Yeah, hold on.
Because this shit is funny.
Right. So it was OVO Fest weekend, but there was supposed to be a Young Money reunion, which did end up happening afterwards. But
wait.
okay.
But
before, this was at the beginning of August. Before,
it is the beginning
of August.
I guess by the time
the middle of August.
we in the middle. Yeah, go ahead.
It was. I think it was the last time we recorded. It was around that time. So, or else we would have spoken about it then. But yeah, so it's called October World Weekend, which if you know, OVO stands for October's Very Own. So
yes, we are aware.
So it says October World Weekend is a 3-day Toronto-based festival that aims to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Drake's OVO Fest and preview a global run for the festival in 2023. So technically it wasn't OVO Fest, but it was to celebrate OVO Fest, which I don't even know that, like, all of it seems the same to me. But Drake says, I am truly devastated to say that I tested positive for COVID, and the Young Money reunion show scheduled for tonight is being rescheduled to the soonest caps lock date possible. I will keep the city posted and share the new date whenever we have it locked. Until then, I hope everyone stays safe and healthy, and I love you all. I am so sorry for letting you down on our weekend together. And the moment I test negative,
what he gonna do?
I will give you everything I got on stage, except COVID. Except the COVID, because niggas.
What you think Drake had planned that he canceled the show?
I don't know.
You think he had COVID after he was in Greece making fun of Joe Budden and shaking people's hands?
That shit was hilarious when he was making fun of Joe Budden in Greece.
Fam, Drake did not have COVID.
You don't think he had COVID? I mean, he has been all over the place lately. It's very possible he caught COVID.
And then he was healed in 2 days.
Did it happen 2 days later?
Come on, man. Go ahead, talk about it. What happened?
There's not a whole lot to talk about. There was a reunion. You wanted to. There was a reunion.
I think it's funny. I think Drake faked COVID. That's my story. Oh, okay.
They ended up doing it, I think, the following week or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did do the show. The reunion did happen. I think that was where Wayne announced that the Carter 6 is coming. For those of you who are interested, I know you are not a big Wayne fan.
You couldn't just let it go, huh?
Well,
you couldn't just be like, Carter 6, let's move on.
I mean, you made a face when I said it, so I don't understand the people. Right, and that, listen, this podcast has been going on for however many, since February. The people know you don't like Wayne.
I never said I don't like Wayne.
All right, well, I said it. I threw you under the bus. If I could say I don't, never mind. You never. Take this shit to the next level.
I never said I don't like Wayne. I just said I'm not the biggest Wayne fan.
You've made fun of his lyrics on this here podcast in this here closet.
No.
You've made fun of his lyrics.
I have quoted his lyrics. He said,
run the tapes back.
Go ahead, run them, and you're gonna hear the same shit that Wayne says. I think I said, I mean, I think I mean, I mean, I think I said, I said, I think I mean,
so you're not making fun of him.
I said, I think I mean, I mean, I think I think
I
said what I mean. I think I said, I mean, I said, I think I mean.
So you're not making fun of him. And listen, and I'm
That's
not
lyrics. You can look that up. You want
not,
references? I got songs that he did it on. I could tell you.
I don't need. But I'm not over here defending him. I simply said you don't like him. That's it. I didn't even say my stance.
I think Wayne had a great mixtape run.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wayne has been in the game for eons, and I have a lot of respect for that. And yes, he has some great records. Am I the number one Lil Wayne fan? No, absolutely not. Am I a Lil Wayne fan? No, absolutely not. But do I not like Wayne? No, I don't not like Wayne. If Wayne's song comes on, there's plenty of Wayne songs that come on and songs that he's featured on that I think are great.
Agree.
But do I listen to Wayne's albums from start to finish? No, I haven't done that in a long time because his music is not my favorite.
So nobody in this closet is listening to the Carter 6.
I'll do it for the pod.
We can do it for the pod.
Okay,
I'll listen
you can
to
do
it. You know what?
Niggas ain't shit. It's me. I'm niggas.
Yeah, you niggas. You're right. Listen, I guess I don't feel as strongly as you do about it.
I think because at one point Wayne was saying,
albums.
I'm the best rapper alive, and I'm the best rapper since the best rapper retired right after Jay-Z, quote unquote, retired after the Black Album.
Right.
And it was like, before that, you never bothered me. But once you start walking around saying I'm the best rapper, now I gotta be like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
I got to bring out the...
Yeah, so I'm down to listen to it for the pod. The problem is that I'm not comparing it to anything. I've never listened to a full Wayne album. So I would be comparing it to his music that gets released to the masses. His singles, I wouldn't really be, or his features. What I thought was interesting, actually? I went to work out the other day, and where I work out, there's like no service. So whatever's downloaded on my phone is all the music I have, and I forget to, like, I'll come back and I should probably right away like figure out my workout playlist for the next time, and I don't do that. So I end up going there and then having the same issue every time. So I've kind of had to, work through my downloaded. But I thought it was interesting. A long time ago, I created a workout playlist. And what you believe?
Fireman? It's a Lil Wayne record.
No.
See? And I'm the one that doesn't like Lil Wayne. Go ahead.
It was like mostly... It was Kanye, Wayne, and Drake. And to clarify,
the generation after us, that's their squad.
I know, but to clarify, Wayne was
like some people think that's the top 3.
It was Wayne features though. It wasn't any Wayne.
I'm just saying some of the younger cats.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I know. You're right.
Those daddy-os.
What does that make you, a granddaddy-o?
I'm the OG. I'm the young OG, like Fab said.
Listen.
Oh wait, what Cole said? Stuck between 2 generations. I'm little bro and big bro all at once, or something like that. That's middle child.
Oh my gosh! Happy Middle Child Day to everyone who celebrates. Yesterday was National Middle Child Day. I love you, my people. I love you, my people.
All right, so next topic.
The struggle is real. Anyway, So yeah, I thought that was interesting because, you know, I come on here and I say a lot of things about Ye. We've had conversations about Drake. We're now talking about Wayne. Again, the songs that are in my playlist are Wayne features. They're not actual Wayne records. But I just thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, yo, honestly, I could just listen to Kanye and work out if I'm being completely honest.
Bolder, better, faster, stronger.
Oh, you know, Stronger is in there. Stronger, Mercy.
Oh, Mercy.
Let the suicide doors up. Yo, jogging on the treadmill when that happens. I know, I look like a crazy person, but
I was gonna say that I get that same feeling.
I do suicides in the tour bus. That gets me energized. I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this, you know? I could make it to the end of this run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting since we're talking about Wayne, and you know, the likes of them.
So are we swinging over to Kanye?
Yeah, let's swing it over to Kanye. Oh, what a segue.
You set it up, you know what I'm saying? You put it by the rim, I slam dunk it.
I did, you know, you picked up what I put down.
So, you know, Kanye likes to leak text messages and DMs and all of that good stuff. So
he does.
I don't know, whatever. He put up some conversation he was having with someone. I don't know who the person is, nor do I care, but he used some very specific language about Adidas and the Yeezy brand. And he basically said that Adidas is doing a lot of things without his permission. He kept naming things, you know, Adidas did blank without my permission. Adidas did this without my permission. Adidas did that without my permission. So there seems to be some conflict behind some of the things that Adidas is doing with the Yeezy brand. Kanye is supposed to have a certain level of say-so, a certain level of communication should be happening, and apparently it is not. He is not being told that these things are happening. These things are happening without his knowledge, and as he said, without my permission.
Yeah, I think one of the things was simply that they put something on sale that they did not discuss. They didn't discuss discounts, and they just went ahead and discounted his. Yeah. And I would have been pissed about that too.
It's one of them also alluded to the fact that they are kind of like doing different colors and kind of halting, not creation. What's the business word? Creation.
This is Kanye's Instagram, by the way. What is this? Somebody tell me what is this? This is why he makes me mad. Why you haven't then delete your Instagram?
Beyonce did the same thing.
With no thumbnail?
Beyonce did the same thing.
She didn't have a thumbnail?
Beyonce did the same thing. Look it up. It's gone now, but she did it. And they reported on it. Look up your you-know-who's.
That would have pissed me off too. But I don't follow either of them, so they can do whatever they want on their pages. But
you gonna talk about Adidas?
I'm sorry. I was trying to find where he said it, and I ended up landing on his Instagram, and that's what I saw. So
Kanye is a Twitter guy. He was saying that they stopped manufacturing the Yeezy sneakers and stuff because without his permission. So people think that it means that Adidas is trying to come up with their own rendition of the Yeezy for when the contract is over and they can start selling their own version. Because he has their partnership, which is why he's saying that he didn't give permission, is because Yeezy is a partnership brand that was created for this deal. So the Yeezy brand is partially owned by Kanye, partially owned by Adidas.
Okay. He's deleted all of his tweets after November 2020.
All right. Well, then I guess we can't find it.
So.
Well, you have thoughts, takes?
I'd be pissed too if if they're not working in conjunction with him and that is what is agreed upon. The only thing that gave me pause with this was that Kanye tends to come out and say things about how people aren't doing things with him or listening to him or etc., etc. And then there have been times where the other person or entity has come back and said, that's not actually what we negotiated, or that's not actually the way things happened. And so Kanye has a pattern of when he's not happy with something specific, he finds a way to
bring it to the public.
Hold
on. I'm gonna let you finish. But right. Beyonce deserves this award.
Right. And so I don't want to say that Kanye's being dishonest, because again, I would be pissed if I know that I have this deal with this company and we're supposed to be working together in tandem and we're not doing that. And they're now taking liberties that we didn't agree upon.
Right.
Then he's absolutely right in being upset and addressing it, and right. That's fine.
Yeah, because then they're overstepping.
But again, I would love to know what's really negotiated between Adidas and Kanye, which we won't know, but I would love to know, because again, Kanye is known for coming out and saying things like, oh, I was supposed to get final say on this documentary and I didn't get it. And then you have the producers of the documentary like, no, like we were working together on it. We showed Kanye everything, every step of the way, but also we have creative license here and we can do what we want to do with this.
Right.
Kanye has come out. I know you're not gonna like this one, but Kanye has come out and said that I do not get to see my children. We later found out that was unsubstantiated. He kind of does things to curry favor with the public to spite whoever he's upset with. And so I hope that Adidas isn't doing him dirty or isn't disrespecting the contract that they have with him. And if they are, that needs to be corrected. If they are, whoever is spearheading that, whoever is allowing it to happen, needs to be dealt with. Yep. Also, I would like to hear from Adidas. I would like to know what Adidas' take on this is. Because, again, but at this point, all we know is what Kanye said. So if that is what is happening, then no, I would tell my fans too. Because that's really what it is. That's him sounding the alarm without actually saying it and being like, y'all need to, let's let them know who's boss here. I feel like that is what he's saying when he does things like this, is that he's trying to, it's a silent call to action, so to speak.
So speaking of letting people know who's boss, Beyonce has made some boss moves since our last pod. Beyonce has removed Kelis and the sample and the credits and
kept it moving.
She said, "Oh, I don't practice what I preach." Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
You don't own your stuff. Okay, no problem. You gotta take all that shit off.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, just don't even be associated with this then. And Kelis said she was thrilled.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Well, because then people, went and the Beehive went and trolled Kelis after that and was like, "Ha bitch. Now you're not a part of it at all." And Kelis was like, "Well, that kind of was my point." So, and then since then she's just been posting photos of her like frolicking around her farm. Like she's completely unbothered.
The house that Nas built.
So Beyonce is making big moves.
She also removed lyrics.
Yes, there's a word. We will not say it on this podcast just to be respectful.
Why? Why? Oh, we about to argue on the pod? That's what's about to happen?
I'm not saying. I thought
Respectful
that
to who?
was.
Who does the word spaz offend? Let's have a real conversation.
Isn't it people with I don't want to misspeak.
Spaz.
Yeah, that's what I thought. People have often referred to disabled people as spastic, and that's why it's offensive. I didn't make this up. I didn't say it. It wasn't me. Why are you looking at me like I did it? Disabled people in the United Kingdom often consider.
In the United Kingdom?
I'm just reading what this.
I'm not mad at you. Go ahead.
Disabled people in the United Kingdom often consider spastic to be one of the most offensive terms related to disability. Spaz in Wiktionary says slang, derogatory, offensive, a stupid or incompetent person.
That's not how we use it in this culture. In this culture, when someone says spaz or spaz out, it means bug out. It means wall out.
Yeah, but I think where that originated from is the problem. From what I've been reading, I don't know because I've never. This is new to me. The time that I first learned about this was when Lizzo came out with her album several weeks ago, and Lizzo ended up removing it from one of her songs as well because the public said that she was being ableist.
This is what I don't understand. And this is what I think is a very dangerous thing about this current time. Everyone wants to please the public. But music is art. And part of art is pushing boundaries, which means, yes, it will offend people. And if one thing is used, if a term is used one way by a specific culture and you're not part of the culture, why do you get a say? That's my first question. My second question is, okay, we're removing lyrics and samples to please the public. So what happens next? Because I'm with Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky came out and was like, "Oh, we're removing lyrics. Take my lyrics out too then."
Yeah.
You spoke about me on Partition, Beyonce.
Right.
Take that shit out. So now what? So we're just gonna have silent songs soon. It's just gonna be instrumentals because everything offends someone.
Yeah, this says spaz is a direct derivative of the word spastic used to describe a medical condition. And when people use that term, it's always in relation to these medical conditions, even if intention is not there to be offensive.
But then we can't use any word that we have remixed for the culture if that's the case. There are a bunch of words and terms that we use in this culture, in hip hop, that derive that the inception of the word was offensive or not cool or hurtful, and we have remixed it, jazzed it up, whatever term you want to use, reimagined it, and turned it into something else. NERD had a huge record called Spaz. That was years ago. Nobody told them to take it off. It was the number one record on their tour. It was one of the records that they closed with. And guess what? People were like mosh pitting when they did it. So because times have changed, we're taking down lyrics and saying I'm sorry and being people pleasers. You know what happens when you decide to please the public? You fuck up everything you're trying to do because you're so busy trying to please the public that you can't even stay true to who you really are. So that means what? Now you're going to be writing lyrics and have to second guess. Now you're going to have to remove everything you say that offends someone. But in this age, every fucking thing offends someone. So what's going to be left in 10 years? You'll have to fucking submit your lyrics to the public before you can record your song? I do not approve of this shit at all. everything offends someone.
I am
Sure.
JD and I approved this I did not.
I
approve
don't.
this message.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's bullshit. And I think when you decide to please Twitter and everybody else about what you fucking do because you don't want to get quote unquote canceled, I think that's a cowardice act. I do. I think you should say, hey, I wrote this. This is the mentality I was in. I meant it this way, and too fucking bad if you don't like it. Clearly, someone saying spaz is in this culture is not meant to make fun of anyone. There are plenty of examples of us using it in the culture. And NERD is not even hip hop. They're alternative. They're like on some rock and roll shit half the time. I love NERD. My point is they had a huge record that goes beyond hip hop, especially at that time, and nobody said shit. It's because of this era we're in where everyone's so fucking sensitive and everything offends someone. You can't say anything in this age without, oh, well, you know, you're calling for violence against a group of people. Oh, what you said was very offensive to a group of people. Yo, fam, everything is going to offend someone. So what? Now all N-words will be removed from songs in 5 years because it offend a group of black people? So we're just gonna have half of all hip-hop songs not have the word nigga because it derives from a racist slur? Come on, like the shit is stupid.
Well, I guess if that's the argument, then who 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 of who whom of who I don't know how to say this. Of the people who were using the word spaz, who was disabled? Who was reclaiming it?
That's what I'm saying. No one was talking about disabled people. We were saying bug out. When somebody says, yo, he about to spaz, or somebody hears a record, let's say somebody hears a rap song, they say, man, Dashing D spazzed on that song. It means she went wild.
Right, but just I guess I'm just trying to talk it out. I honestly don't know how to feel about this, but I'm asking questions because maybe these are questions that people watching will have. Who, if we're saying, because I understand when you use the N word, I don't know why I'm saying N word, but when you say nigga, we are talking about the fact that something that has been said about us, we've now reclaimed it and we've spoken, we use it in a different way, right? Like when me and you use it on this podcast, for instance, we're reclaiming it.
Okay. You're saying who from the crippled? You're saying who from the disabled? I'm sorry.
You can say disabled.
Who from the disabled community is using the word in that way? That's what you're saying,
right? Because
no
what is being said, from what I understand, is that the word spastic is a term that was before anyone was using it in the way that it's being used in songs. Before anyone was using it, it was to refer to a condition.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
That affected disabled people. So I'm just trying to understand, and I'm just trying to talk it through. I'm not even telling you that I think you're wrong or anything like that. I'm just asking questions just because, you know, for the purposes of this podcast, I want to have a conversation. Let's have a real conversation about it, you know? So I guess that would be the question, right? Then is it the same thing?
In hip hop, we take terms that are not used regularly and we use them and we alter them to make them cool, acceptable, trendy. There are brands that nobody ever fucking heard of before hip hop. There are words that nobody ever fucking heard before hip hop that we use. Right now, many people say that's cap. Does it mean it's a baseball hat? No. Does it mean it's a dad hat? No. It means it's bullshit. It means it's a lie. So That's one example of what we do. We are very creative and we change the definition of things constantly to keep things fresh, new, cool, trendy. That's what we do
Okay.
with a ton of shit.
I hear you.
That's number one.
Uh-huh.
Number two is number two is spaz was not used for the first time in songs in 2022. I'm sure if you do a Google search, spaz is in many more songs than the NERD song I mentioned, the Lizzo song you mentioned, and the Beyonce song we're talking about. I'm sure spaz is in more than 3 songs from the time hip hop came out almost 50 years ago. Come on, son. It has nothing to do with the word. It has to do with this era we live in where everyone is sensitive and everyone wants to petition against things and everyone wants to please the people. Because those who are happy on the internet, like fucking 5 people, but those who are happy on the internet will champion you. Yay, Lizzo took the word out the song. Yay, Beyonce removed it. Hooray! Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
What I'm saying is we are entering very dangerous waters. Because if you can tell me what to remove from my art, that gives you a lot of power. And that takes away the power and the creativity and the freedom from the artist. That's like if someone was in here painting and you walked in and said, oh, but when you use yellow, it offends me. You know, the reason that people use yellow is because of blah, 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 blah. And so I think you should remove yellow from your painting. So now they just don't use yellow in any of their paintings. No, like that's not okay. Art is subjective. Art is creative. Art is rebellious. Art pushes boundaries. That is the point of art. Music is a form of art, just like dance is a form of art. There are many forms of art. When you are able to tell someone who you are not paying and commissioning for a piece of work, hey, I don't want this. I need you to remove this. That is a very dangerous place to enter because what you're saying is the court of public opinion will dictate the things that do and do not happen in the art, in the industry, and in the era that you're living in. That's why I use the example because these, whoever it is that is pushing for spaz to be removed, where the fuck they came from? They didn't petition NERD 10 or 12 years ago. This is some new shit because of the era that we live in. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So again, so what happens? In 5 years, in 10 years, people come out and say, oh, well, we need to ban the word nigga because of what it derives from.
I think people have already tried that.
But it hasn't been
And
this
it
era.
hasn't
No
been
one's tried in
successful.
this era. And
I
who
don't
knows?
think
Listen,
that's-
if you continue to do this, what I'm saying is that this sets a precedent. And when you set a precedent and when you allow these things to happen, they will only continue to happen. If every time I walk in this closet to record a podcast, you smack me across the face and I allow it, guess what's going to keep happening? I'm going to keep getting smacked across the face. And wait, you may even elevate to something more extreme.
Maybe tell our listeners that I'm violent.
What I'm saying is that when you give a person an inch, they take a mile. And allowing people to dictate what you do and do not do in your art is a very dangerous place. And these 2 huge artists, Beyonce and Lizzo, regardless of how you feel about them personally or their music, they are huge stars. Absolutely. They are huge artists. And now these 2 highly I don't know if I should say honored, but these 2 very creative, very popular, very powerful women are now signing away freedoms and limiting what they and other artists can do. If someone as big as Beyonce, who's arguably the biggest woman act on the planet, is saying, I will remove the word spaz from my music, what do you think happens when someone else does it? Anyone who's not Beyonce level, which let me be clear, there aren't many people on Beyonce's level.
No.
So anyone under that level will now have to live up to that standard. They are going to hold them to the same light and say, hey, B-level artist, C-level artist, up-and-coming artist that we've never heard of. Why are you using this word? That's offensive. Beyonce removed it. You should remove it too. Beyonce removed it because she understands that it's not allowed, that it's offensive, that it should be banned. And guess what? Now, anyone else can be held to that same light. Yeah. They can be held to that same decision. That is dangerous, and that is not okay. And I think that we try to please fans and people on the internet so much that we are entering a dangerous place. Art is not supposed to be restricted. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you. I understand what you're saying. Points were made. Okay. Thank you for that.
No problem. Speaking of being restricted, Meg Thee Stallion is having some label beefs. It's public. It's been happening for a long time now. And there's been a lot of back and forth about her album that just came out. Did you know an album just came out?
I had no idea an album
I didn't know an album just came out. But it did. And nobody fucking knows.
That wasn't directed at Meg Thee Stallion.
Nobody knows.
Were you?
There wasn't a huge rollout. There wasn't anything that told us it was really coming. And it's really weird.
What do you think this
She
means?
co-hosted, what's Jimmy Fallon's show?
Late Night with Jimmy Fallon?
She co-hosted Jimmy Fallon. She was on a very popular show, P-Valley.
I like P-Valley.
I'm about to say a little more, man.
P-Valley is my, my show. One of my shows. But,
she was on last week, apparently.
I didn't know because, I don't have stars. And so I have to, leave my home to go see P-Valley. But, yeah, I did not know she was on P-Valley. I guess I would have figured it out eventually.
I mean, so it's really strange.
And I didn't know she was on Fallon either, which I feel like...
Apparently she co-hosted the episode.
I don't watch Fallon, but I feel like usually when somebody of note is on Fallon, you hear about it.
And she's a top-tier artist as far as branding goes.
What do you think that means?
I think that...
Are they trying to hide her from us a little bit, you think?
I don't know what's going on because...
They didn't want us to notice?
The thing is this. When you're trying to restrict, when you're trying to reduce the availability and the visibility of an artist, they don't get those type of things. They don't get those kind of looks, quote unquote. To be on P-Valley and be on Fallon back to back. And it wasn't a guest spot. Like a lot of artists will go and perform.
Yeah, she was.
They're going to be interviewed.
She was co-hosting.
She co-hosted the episode.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about that.
Who do you hear co-hosting Fallon?
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm a little confused because I think you make a good point that these are not like very low profile things that she's doing. But for whatever reason, we didn't know about it.
It's weird.
Or we didn't know about the album. It's very weird. It's almost like hiding her in plain sight.
I don't understand because
You think this has to do with the case?
No, I think it has to do with the label beef because
Well, what is the beef? Because you mentioned that there's label beef. So what?
she's on an old deal with a specific guy. I don't know his name at the moment.
Okay.
But she signed a deal. It goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So artists are signing multiple layered deals.
Right.
So you'll sign, Cell Phone will sign to Dashing D for a management deal. Excuse me. Or even a specific number of projects.
Mm-hmm.
And say Cell Phone signs to you for 5 projects.
Right.
But then Cell Phone gets really popular because you're doing a good job with everything you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then now a huge label or a small label wants to sign the act that you signed. Mm-hmm. Now you sign Cell Phone to the small label.
Yeah.
And now there's a hit and it's taking off. Mm-hmm. And now one of those 5 big labels gets word. Mm-hmm. And now they want to sign. But now you're in 3 deals.
Right.
Cell Phone is now in 3 deals in this example. Mm-hmm. So this is something that happens often. People don't know who they're signed to. They don't know the intricate details because they have these weird deals. Right. And she's in one of those situations. Okay. And I'm trying to summarize because it's a lot. There have been very public back and forths between her and the guy she was signed to originally. Okay. Before getting to, I think she's on Atlantic.
That sounds right.
I think she's on Atlantic. Mm-hmm. And before getting there, she was signed to this guy for X amount of projects. Mm-hmm. She's been trying to get out the deal. There's been a lot of back and forth. There was like a mixtape she tried to release independently. And that didn't work out. They said it had to come out under the label through that situation. Then there was another one that came out and she tried to say it was an album. They said no, it wasn't because she was trying to count it towards the amount of projects she signed for. They went to court and then said no. He thought that it was not eligible based on the details of the contract. There's mad shit. As of recent, a couple weeks ago, she said that she felt someone at the label or someone in that situation leaked her album, but then nobody could find whatever the leak was. Like even some of the other podcasters who like really are into the leaks that come out and like when people put out songs earlier than they're supposed to, it was like, I couldn't find shit. I looked for a song. I looked for the album. I couldn't find anything. And then they responded and was like, nobody leaked shit. What are you talking about? And so now the album actually came out yesterday, Friday. We're recording this on Saturday. And no one's heard about it.
I didn't know.
There was a single that came out with Future a while ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. Nobody really was bumping it. I didn't see it circulating. It wasn't trending or any of the things that normally happen when there's a Meg song or a Meg single or a Meg album. There was no real rollout. It was just like, hey, there's this song.
It's so bizarre. Like I really don't even know what to say about it. It's really bizarre. Because they push her really hard, like in terms of what her visibility. And so it just sounds nuts that I had no idea. And yes, I know that sometimes I am behind the curve when it comes to the releases and whatnot, but I'm on the internet enough that
you would have seen it.
I would have seen it.
Absolutely.
Somebody would have said something. Because usually when Meg Thee Stallion music comes out, okay, so it's kind of like she kind of has like the Beyonce or like the Drake effect, right? Where the girls will listen and they will post all the quotables and everything like that. So I guess
use it in their
captions. I think it's gotten so meta now that like a lot of the girls will post and say, these are going to be my captions. I've seen that lately with a lot of the Beyonce stuff. But so I'm a little bit confused as to what happened here. Like what are we doing? And, you know, if it is a result of beef, as we talked about earlier in the conversation with Irv Gotti and Ashanti, it could affect the business if there are things going on and people are not getting along and there's tension, whether it's caused by the business or it's caused by something else, it's perfectly possible that it could affect future endeavors.
Yeah.
So maybe that is what's going on, but it's weird. It's really, really weird. It's really, really bizarre. Are you gonna listen to the album?
I don't listen to Meg. It's not okay. I'm not gonna say that because actually that's not true. I actually have like 3 songs of hers on a playlist that I have. I don't listen to Meg projects. I think some of her singles are good for certain things, party music, workout music, things like that. I have trouble listening to highly sexual music from women because I'm a straight man and it's a little weird for me to be listening to.
You gotta say the whole thing. You gotta say you're cisgendered straight man. I'm sorry. You know that's how they classify you now. You are not just a straight man. You are cisgendered as well. I mean, I'm a cis woman, so it's fine. Sorry, I had to do it because you were laying out all your categories.
I'm just saying it's not. I don't listen to party music often. It's often very partyish.
Mm-hmm.
It's often very hypersexualized, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I don't know how much I'm supposed to listen to you eating the dick and how great your pussy is. And I'm sure there's more than that. This new album is supposed to be very personal. She says it's like her diary.
So maybe it's not about.
Maybe it's not, but
eating the dick, as you said, as you so eloquently put it.
She's got lyrics where she says, "Eat the dick even when I'm vegan." That's one of the song lyrics I do know.
I'm just messing around with you, but I'm so proud of you for knowing.
Oh yeah, she says, "Go to school and I party on the weekend. Eat the dick even when I'm being vegan."
You like that line, huh?
I know some stuff.
You think she went off on that one, huh?
No, I just think it's funny. Because she laid it out for y'all.
You're like, yeah.
She's like, I got my priorities straight. I'm in school, but I like to party on the weekend.
Yeah,
and I like dick enough to eat it. Even when I'm on some vegan shit.
Smart girl who likes.
Come on, balance, baby.
Listen, you gotta be balanced.
Balance. And yes, I will be honest. The antics have turned me off as well because she can be an amazing star and artist and all of that, but the antics turned me off with a lot of people. I've spoke about it with Will Smith and Kanye and plenty of other people. It's not a Meg thing. I'm not a fan of antics, and it makes me stray away from the thing that you really should be pushing, which is the art. And to be honest, I mean, party music is cool and sexual music is cool, but I've never heard anything from Meg that made me want to listen to an album. And there's plenty of other artists like that. I'm only responding this way because you asked me about Meg, but there's a ton of artists that feel like that about.
I hear you. I'm kind of in the same boat. It's not really my favorite thing. I think, when you're out or, you're getting ready to go out, I guess. I like to play
there's certain times when
it's music when it's time to go out or whatever. If I'm putting on my makeup in the bathroom, I'll put on the Google Home or whatever. So I kind of understand that. That's not, I mean, I say it all the time on here that even just hip hop, some of the hip hop, I can't have to be like in the right mood to listen to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, and listen, if my orientation was more fluid, then some of the things would be easier to listen to. But
if you were not a cisgendered straight man.
Sure. Perhaps it would be easier to listen to that on a regular, on a regular basis. But I'm not gonna twerk and talk about.
You don't want to twerk?
I don't twerk, and I don't really need to listen to.
Twerk? You don't want to twerk? I'm not really. I'm not good at twerking. I gotta be honest.
I'm not good at twerking either.
I can whine.
Whine up.
Yeah, like I'm Guyanese. I can whine. Like the aunties teach you how to whine when you're like 6, maybe earlier. So I can whine, but twerk specifically, no, I can't do that. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was not made for that. But I support the girls who do, because good for them. If I could figure out how to make my butt do that, I'd probably do it too, but I can't.
It's overrated.
I can't figure it out, so it's fine.
It's overrated.
It's fine. I'm good.
It's overrated.
Yeah, maybe. So, I mean, do you have any last thoughts on Meg, or I'm gonna?
I mean, I just don't know what's going on. I don't have a real take on this. It seems like it could be because of the label stuff and the beef with the dude. I can't remember his name. Forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what more could be going on. I know what it's not. I know it's not her lack of creativity, because clearly she's putting out product.
Right.
I know it's not that her fans are not supporting.
Mm-hmm.
I saw earlier today, apparently there was a gathering in Central Park with her and her fans celebrating the release of the album.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not that like nobody's fucking with her.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that.
It's not that like she has no fans. Clearly she does, and they are supportive, but I don't know why there hasn't been any promotion or what's going on behind the scenes that I'm not. I don't know what's up.
This sounds like a label thing. This doesn't sound like something that the public is responsible for. It sounds like something that the label is responsible for. You one of the biggest stars in music comes out with an album and you don't know.
It's weird.
People don't know.
It's weird.
Unless you were like really on it and really looking for it.
Yeah.
You didn't know. It sounds nuts. It doesn't even make any sense.
That's why I thought we should discuss it, because it was so weird to me when I heard about that.
That is wild. But
yeah.
You know what else is wild?
What you got?
You know what else is wild? Well, since we're talking about albums that came out, we gotta talk about The Game.
The Game has been trending for 3 days now. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The Game's new album, Drillmatic. Oh, it's Heart versus Mind. That's what it is. Drillmatic, Heart versus Mind, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
He posted something on his Instagram. It's number 1. Congratulations to him.
Congratulations to Game.
It is
that's good.
31
nice.
songs. It is 2 hours long.
That's long.
And the reason he's been trending...
Well, 2 hours is not long, because, his podcast is about the same thing. So if you can listen to Game...
In the era where people are dropping 30-minute projects,
right.
2 hours is 4 projects.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's long for the current time that we're in and the way that people are digesting music. Except Chris Brown's fans, because y'all listen to 80 songs on one project.
Do. Yes.
So there's one song specifically that has the internet in a frenzy.
Yeah.
It's 10 minutes long.
Oof.
I played it for you. I had already heard it.
Yep. I heard it.
And he is dissing Eminem and a little bit of 50 Cent too.
It's cleverly done. It's masterfully pieced together. I will say, for a 10-minute song, it was only in the last maybe 2 minutes where I was like, okay.
Right.
Okay,
Wrap it up.
Time is it. We've got this podcast to do.
Right.
But no, I thought it was a good song. I honestly think that song is a good preview. I haven't heard the album, but I think when you're talking about embarking on 2 hours of music, 31 songs, I would say listening to that made me curious
what the rest sounds
about
like.
what else is there. Yeah. So I think that's actually a good way to kind of get yourself in the mood to listen to the rest of it.
So he raps like Eminem on the record.
Yes.
He kidnaps Stan's little brother, Matthew.
Yes.
And he mimics 50 Cent. And he makes fun of 50 Cent.
I think it was very clever.
And people are upset
Are they?
and disappointed.
In him?
Oh yeah, Twitter is going nuts.
They're mad at him? That's why he's trending?
People think that this came out of nowhere. According to TMZ, I can't even believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but
Yeah, when you said that to me earlier, I said, oh.
because they're the
According to
only ones that
TMZ?
I see giving some kind of reasoning behind this.
Okay.
He's saying that, oh, excuse me, not he. TMZ says that because Game, this is so weird, because Eminem will not do a versus battle against Game,
Mm-hmm.
he is trying to bait Eminem with this song. TMZ's words, not mine.
Okay.
Never thought I'd be quoting TMZ.
I never
How-
thought so either.
How
but,
far
you
we've
know.
how far we've fallen.
How far we've fallen. You are so dramatic.
Fall from grace is hard to take. And whose rap line is that?
I'm sure you'll tell us when you figure it out.
It doesn't matter right now.
I think that's kind of funny. I actually think if you're gonna do it with music. I would rather him make a diss track to bait Eminem than just talk shit on the internet. Let the rappers do what rappers do.
I respect that. Game, for those who don't know, has a history of putting out long ass diss tracks. He once did a song called 300 Bars, and it's 300 lines of him dissing people.
Wow.
And talking shit.
Yeah.
Game has been very clear throughout his career that he feels he raps better than pretty much everyone. And I think if you're gonna battle the quote unquote rap god, why not give him 10 minutes of bars? I don't think we needed 10 minutes, but
I probably didn't. But again, he's clever. I think that he's
him rapping like Eminem was really funny. It caught me off guard.
Yes.
And he did a good job.
And the 50 Cent.
And the 50 Cent fake hooks.
I didn't catch it at first, but as soon as you said it, I was like, I heard it. I didn't even need to hear it again. I was like, no, I absolutely hear that.
Yeah. And he said he's been wearing do-rags for over 10 years and has no waves yet.
He did say that.
That was funny.
He did say that. No, he had a lot of good quips in there.
Yeah, he said since you always talk about Curtis, you should let him write the raps for you.
I mean, listen, maybe this will work. Maybe he will get his wish. I don't know, but again, I like it when rappers rap.
I gotta be honest, and the internet may kill me for this. I don't know, and honestly, whatever, we could debate. I think if today Eminem and Game have a rap battle, Eminem's taking a loss.
I think you're right.
I don't think Eminem could fuck with Game today.
But hasn't Eminem tried to battle people over the years, like in recent years? Hasn't he come out and it's been okay, but it hasn't been like,
yes,
what I guess we would have expected him to do in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that's I don't really think that's the hottest take. I think you're probably right.
I'm looking at these Twitter back and forth, these Twitter discussions.
Well, the stands, because we know that's where it came from. The stands go hard.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, people revere Eminem.
The Great White Hope. I thought he was going to say that. He didn't say that.
People revere Eminem. People hold Eminem to a very, very high regard. And I'm not, this is not me disputing his abilities, or the career he had. But people revere him. And so I'm not surprised that the internet is like, oh, he'll shut shit down. I just don't know I agree with you. I don't know that that's true today.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, that's fine, because Game is still very much active and making albums and rap and being a rapping ass rapper.
And good music.
Right.
Like I say
Eminem
all the time.
is not in the same position.
No. And I say all the time, like, Game is slept on. Like,
yeah.
Game The mixtapes, whatever, I don't even know all of them, so I can't comment. But Game's albums are good albums.
Yeah.
They are good music. They are really quality music.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Like, even his quote unquote weakest albums, they can hold up against some niggas' albums today. And that says a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that if this becomes a straight up battle, I don't think it will, but I also know Eminem loves to respond. So I think if it does evolve into an actual back and forth battle, Eminem is taking an L.
You think he's cooking it up in the lab right now?
Probably. He really likes to respond. I mean, he responded to Joe Budden, and Joe Budden was just podcasting at one point. Like, they just reviewed his album, and he didn't even really review the album. He said that the track list didn't excite him, and then Eminem went and dissed Joe Budden. So
he's very much a put me in coach ass dude. Like, he's very much like, oh, I want in.
Eminem?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's very much like, say some shit about me, because I've been waiting. Then just put music out. If that's what you want to do, then just make music, and whoever wants it will get it, and whoever doesn't won't.
Well, that's what's been happening.
Right. But I just feel like he waits for these opportunities so that he
Eminem still very much wants, it's clear that Eminem very much still wants the respect of the hip hop industry, the respect of a high level MC, and he wants to be revered as a great artist as well. What I don't think Eminem is realizing, and I've said this many times to people who know me in the past years, is that it's not helping his career putting out all of this music and putting so many words into a line and rapping so fast that he breaks the world record. Like, that shit is not helping right now. Like,
yeah,
you had a great career and retired and came back, and you've been doing a lot of stuff, and none of it has been spectacular, and you keep pumping out more and more and more, and it diminishes your career after a certain point.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you're still doing it besides to prove something to yourself, because no one doubts his lyrical ability, but that doesn't mean he's still making quality music.
Right.
And that is harming your career because you keep putting out all of these subpar projects. Then it's hard to say you're top 5 or the best rapper or
over time.
Absolutely. And putting out so much quantity and taking away from the quality is taking away from your career overall.
Yeah.
Where Game, on the flip side, Game has not put out a whack album probably ever. I mean, are they all super hot fire? No, but none of Game's albums are trash.
He's consistent.
And he's consistent.
That's
like,
important.
Yeah. So Eminem might want to sit this one out.
You think he will, though?
I don't think he will. His daughter responded.
What did she say?
She did some TikTok, Instagram type reel type video. It's like a voice changing thing, and it's saying like, she's listing like who you expect to be. I'll put it on the screen. She's mentioning like who you expect to be mentioned when you listen to Game's album, and then she heard her name, was like, nigga, what you mentioning me for? She didn't say nigga. Let me be clear. I don't want to misspeak.
Because she's a white woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I was like, wait.
Yeah. You know how people do like the funny Instagram and TikTok videos? So she's naming different rappers, around. T.I., whoever, and then she's like, me? Well, what you mentioning me for? And she makes a funny face. It was cute. It's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
She didn't say nigga. It's fine. It's fine.
She didn't.
Well, we had a real conversation.
We did.
And now that's it.
You sure?
We got through the list.
You sure?
I checked it before
Good job.
Yeah. We're good.
All right.
Well, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back in 2 weeks where we will have yet another real conversation.
I hope so.
That's the plan. Stan. Pun intended. Pun intended.
Thanks again. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and
comments.
Can I tell them about
the new super hot fire that's coming? Nope. Let's get it done first. We haven't even recorded the content yet, so we have stuff coming. Okay.
For the socials.
And for the the ones who want to talk about things other than music. We've got some fun things coming. So stay tuned. More on that
later.